Hi, movies recapped here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I will clarify a 2020 American science dream film called Artemis Fowl. The film starts with a multitude of journalists holding up external Fowl Manor while announcing about the fowl who has recently been captured for his crimes. Not long later, an assistant of Artemis Fowl named Mulch Diggums is arrested for aiding Fowl. The scene moves to MI6 Red Fort interrogation office where Mulch is being questioned by the specialists. He uncovers that he is only a tunneler. In this way they should zero in on capturing the capable young man, Artemis Fowl, who is the mind of the activity. From that point onward, he recounts to them the full story of Fowls, just as a universe of pixies that they found. Artemis Fowl is a 12 years of age capable and virtuoso kid who lives in Ireland. It is uncovered that Artemis figured out how to beat the European chess champion, win the design contest, and clone a goat in his youth. Since he is a very virtuoso kid, he is considered as various and doesn't coexist with his companions at school. He needs to meet the school advocate who expects that Artemis carries on because of his mom's demise or on account of the weight of his dad's name, Artemis Fowl, Sr., who is a famous collectible and rarities seller. Feeling outraged, he leaves the room. Artemis partakes in his dad's friend, who likes to recount stories about pixies, trolls, and other otherworldly animals. Tragically, Artemis Sr. regularly lets his child be because of his work requests. However, this time he guarantees Artemis Jr. that his work is reaching a conclusion. As he leaves on his helicopter, he guarantees his child that he will protect him. The following day, the Fowl's steward, Domovoy, gets a call which lets him know that Artemis Sr. has been hijacked as the boat showed up with no traveler inside it. In the meantime, Artemis awakens and sees the news on the TV, blaming his dad as an infamous lawbreaker engineer who is capable for the vanishing of a few collectibles and rarities the whole way across the world. Dom right away hauls the child from the TV, who actually can hardly imagine how the media marks his dad as a crook. A couple of seconds after the fact, Artemis gets a call from a secretive figure called Opal Cowboy. She concedes that she is the person who grabbed his father and urges Artemis to get a relic called the Oculos in 3 days or he will kill the dad. Left with no choice, Dom takes Artemis to an underground work area of his dad and the ages before him where he finds a great deal of strange relics and notes about the pixies world put away inside there. In view of the sonnet Artemis Sr. continuously peruses before rest, Artemis figures out how to track down his father's private diary. At the last page of the diary, a composing states something about a lady who takes steps to kill him and his partner Beechwood since she realizes that they keep the Oculos, which must be ensured at all cost, indeed, even from the actual pixies. Artemis begins to accept that the pixies exist. The scene moves to the focal point of the Earth, where Haven City, the home of the pixies, is really genuine and not a fantasy. It is as yet uncovered that the pixies are as yet attempting to track down the Oculos. Turns out that Mulch is a midget and is condemned to 400 years of really difficult work due to carrying out various wrongdoings. From that point onward, he gets together with official Holly Short and asks her to take care of him, yet she will not do as such. On the opposite side, Opal discharges previous pixie administrator, Brian Cudgeon, from guardianship and re-establishes him to the authority position while requesting him to take the Oculos back to her before Artemis does. Authority Root resolves the issue about the missing Oculos, expressing that the antiquity should be recuperated before it falls into some unacceptable hands. Official Holly, then, at that point, moves toward the leader, requesting that consent go to Hill of Terra to examine her dad's vanishing, yet Root denies the solicitation. She exhorts the official not to squander her life since she has a brilliant future ahead. Foali, pixie tech virtuoso, abruptly spots an unidentified savage on a superficial level. Since all the field officials are involved, Commander Root subtly orders Holly to go to the surface to recognize the animal. She is then shot out through a spring of gushing lava by utilizing a case. Brian, who presently goes about as a mole for Opal, questions the officer's choice since Holly is Beechworth's girl, a deceiver who was blamed for taking the Oculos. In the meantime on Earth, Dom enlists his niece, Juliet Butler, to help Artemis in tracking down The Oculos. In the wake of expenditure 12 hours of careful examination, Artemis tracks down a lead at Hill of Terra and plans to catch a pixie that will be utilized to assist him with understanding the pixie's reality. Holly travels to a party where she experiences a monster savage who endeavors to eat a young lady. She assaults the savage and saves the young lady. In spite of the fact that pixies aren't permitted to utilize wizardry on people, Holly defies the standard and treats the young lady's injury with wizardry. Not long later, a period freeze case is conveyed to keep the savage from eating the people. They dispose of the savage and wipe the people's brain prior to putting everything back to ordinary. Coming back, Holly takes a slight diversion and heads to Hill of Terra, trying to demonstrate her dad's innocence. Artemis keeps perusing his dad's diary, discovering that Beechwood intentionally gave over the Oculos to him to forestall the foe, Opal, from accessing the pixie's most grounded spell. Holly bounces into Dom's snare and gets caught. Fowl tracks Holly's last area to Fowl Manor. Also, the commandant promptly conveys each staff to recover Holly previously there. Personality is uncovered. The following day, Holly stirs, finding herself secured up in enclosure. Juliet and Artemis wear extraordinary glasses to keep the pixie from controlling their brain. Artemis attempts to haggle with Holly, however she undermines him, saying that her kin will come to protect her and pixies don't arrange. A period freeze container is conveyed again while a swarm of pixies, armed force, including Commander Root, show up at Fowl Manor. Artemis changes his outfit and afterward appears with Dom. They are ready in battle, a few pixies warriors with Holly's weapon. Dom figures out how to shoot the time freeze container, undermining the time freeze. Root chooses to advance to the house to haggle with Artemis. He invites her, proposing to free Holly in return for the Oculos. After the exchange, Artemis converses with Holly, who uncovers that Benchwood was her dad and their dads cooperate to secure the Oculos. However, Benchwood was outlined as the trickster to the pixies. In the meantime, Opal uncovers his arrangement to govern the two people. Furthermore, pixies world with the Oculos since they are unequipped for fellowship and concurrence. She adds that he will clear out all of humanity and re-establish pixies to their legitimate spot. Since the pixies are not permitted to penetrate the house, Commander Root chooses to deliver Mulch from Authority, who likes to contend and battle with the trolls, whose skin is heat-proof, in the cell. Mulch quickly gets moved to the surface. Root offers to ease up his sentence, assuming Mulch consents to help her by diving his direction into the Fowl Manor and recovering Holly. He consents to the deal and out of nowhere changes into a major mouth overshadow prior to delving into the house. Upon appearance, Mulch, whose eyes are introduced with a camera and X-beam scanner, figures out how to observe the Oculus concealed inside it, protected, that is kept behind an image of Artemis Senior Artemis some way or another allows him to open it and recover the antiquity, as it is still essential for the arrangement, while he at long last chooses to deliver Holly, offering her to work with him. When Mulch opens the safe, Artemis and Holly defy him and endeavor to conceal the Oculos from the pixies. Nonetheless, they have seen it through Mulch's eye. Cudgeon quickly illuminates Opal about the revelation and she arranges him to intercede. He assembles the pixies' armed force while excusing Commander Root from her obligation. He then, at that point, sends the caught tremendous savage, who is infused with an elixir to make him more grounded and angrier, to break into the house. Artemis collaborates with Dom, Juliet, Holly, and Mulch to ensure the Oculos and battle the maddened savage. Mulch chooses to swallow the Oculos, where Dom and the others endeavor to divert the beast. After a long and debilitating battle, they figure out how to trap the savage by tangling it in a crystal fixture. Notwithstanding, the beast tumbles down toward Artemis. In any case, Dom pushes him out, making him be hit by the savage's colossal body. All things considered, the commander orders his men to re-establish Holly's sorcery, permitting him to resuscitate Dom from his demise. In the interim, the time freeze is falling, making a great deal of pixies get tossed around and compelling them to withdraw from Fowl Manor. The time freeze container ultimately detonates and everything returns to typical. Understanding that her arrangement is self-destructing, Opal chooses to kill Artemis Senior with the dull enchantment. With the Oculos in their ownership, Artemis asks Holly to actuate its enchanted spell since no human can employ it. They formally become companions and the official figures out how to make an entryway to protect Artemis Sr. from Opal's safe house prior to getting consumed by the dull wizardry. Artemis observes his dad holding up inside his underground work area where he uncovers to Holly that her father gave his life to secure the Oculos. He then, at that point, gives a rundown of Opal's accessories to Holly, trusting that she needs to examine it and catch them. The official brings the Oculos back to Haven City where Commander Root stores it inside a protected spot. She leads an examination to search out Opal and her assistants. Everybody in the military praises Holly for her commitment. What's more difficult work? In the interim, Artemis by and by calls Opal, undermining her that he will pursue her. From that point onward, he and his father leave with a helicopter, going to complete some business. At this point, Mulch completes his examination and still will not assist them with securing Artemis Fowls. Not long later, he uncovers that he is really a diminutive person and has been gulping a GPS beacon, permitting the Fowls to find him and salvage him from the office. They then, at that point, fly away and are prepared for the new difficulties ahead. Buy in to observe more recordings like this, turn on warnings, and pass on a like to take care of the channel. Thank you for watching.